Why is that? My name is Jared Wilson, and from a man's perspective, I'm happy to share my journey with the hopes of changing these statistics for the better, while uncovering the challenges and opportunities with all relationships. It doesn't matter if you're single, in a relationship, it's complicated, you're engaged, married, or divorced. Let's talk about it. Welcome to The Walk. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of The Walk, episode number 6. I know I've put you guys through a gauntlet the last couple of episodes between financial management, through communication, some different and difficult topics at times, but it's going to only make your relationship better. So we're going to actually turn a page and we're going to actually talk about something more nice, more calm, more relaxing for you guys to have some fun with, and that's leisure activities as well as personality scope. So leisure activities is a fun exercise that we're going to do. We'll hop right into exercise number 1, and that's actually going through and answering questions. I call it the dating exercise, if you will. So what we're going to do is each of you are going to, on a separate level, take your piece of paper and you're going to write down your answers, and then you're going to come together to discuss. So the first one is a couple of questions, super simple. 1, what have been your favorite dates? So I recommend each of you write down maybe your top 3 favorite dates, and most importantly, why they're your favorite dates, and you're going to write those down individually. The next one you'll do is, what do you guys enjoy doing together? So of course, your perspective, their perspective, vice versa, write that down individually. And then lastly, you're going to write down, what are some things you like to learn or pursue together? So of course, moving forward, what are some things you guys want to do together? So after you have the opportunity to write those lists out, of course, you're doing it individually. You're now going to come together and you're going to share, what are those things and what are the commonalities? So of course, was there something that you were surprised that was on your partner's list? Was there something that, made you excited? How did it make you feel? And you guys just to reminisce about some of those good things. As well, you guys are actively planning for some of those fun activities that you're going to do going forward. So, what I always recommend next is not just to write it down and discuss it, but hey, take it that next step further. Pull out the calendars. Maybe it's once a week, once a month, we're going to do something fun, whether it's, we want to do a cooking class, we want to go to salsa lessons, whatever the case is, put it on the calendar so that way you have it there in the forefront and you can work on it going forward and have those moments, because life gets so busy, and especially with between work, perhaps there's family, friends, all of the above. Sometimes you need to make sure that your partner still feels like you guys are still dating, and that's super important. So have that opportunity for leisure activities, and I recommend it that as you do these things, continue to have this conversation again when you guys go to dinner and continue to plan further out. The next thing I want to talk about, is going into our second activity, which is about personality scope. So just as much as you guys may enjoy doing things together, we are going to put a little bit of work back into it. And that's the reality that you are 2 individual people and you guys have 2 different preferences, 2 different styles. And even though you may have some commonalities in what you guys do enjoy, I'm sure there may be some circumstances where you guys like the complete opposite things. So how do you guys use that to your advantage in your relationship and work within that? We're going to do the next activity, which is actually going to be called scoping your personality. So what you're going to do once again is individually, you're going to do just like the first activity on 2 separate papers, write down your answers individually, and then you're going to come back together. So first thing you're going to write is, how are your personalities similar? And of course, the next one is, how are your personalities different? So both write down your answers to what you believe that answer is individually. So the next, of course, what you're going to do is just from those 2 questions, you're going to answer 1/3 question before coming back together. And that is, do the roles you fulfill in your relationship match your personality strengths? So just answer that question. So now after answering that, we're going to come back together, you and your partner. And what you're going to be doing is answering those questions. So What are your personality, how are your personalities similar, I should say. Then next, how can your similarities be a strength? How can they create problems? How are your personalities different? How can those differences be a strength? How can those differences create problems? So, for example, I know with Kara and I, where we are similar is I'm super organized and I'm OCD with regards to certain things. So when it comes to structure and organization in terms of the remote controls need to go here. This is how everything should look nice and neat in the closet. That is my specialty. Where she is OCD is when it comes to cleanliness. Not to say that I'm dirty. I'm very prim and proper, but when it comes to deep cleaning, everything once a week, 2 weeks, she has that part on lock. So how are our personalities similar? We're both OCD in different ways. How can we use that to our strengths? So of course, where we have learned is how to balance each other out where, okay, she knows when it comes to cleaning the house, I'm going to handle X, Y, and Z. She's going to handle these parts. So you have that balance there. How can that create problems at the same time? Because I can be OCD and she can be as well, there could be situations where if there's a lot of papers sent on the table and they have not been moved, my OCD is going to come out. I'm going to be like, hey, it could make me a little bit more testy. It can make me a little bit more frustrated because I feel like I have to clean up after her. And I'm sure in the same case, when it comes to OCD cleanliness, she's like, why is there hair on the sink? Like, didn't you wipe it up? And maybe I missed a piece, who knows? But it's something that, can create difficulties or problems. So that's why you want to have these conversations, because it's just going to increase your awareness of your partner, better understand them. And the reality is that you can't change your partner. You're not getting into this because you're thinking your partner is going to change their complete personality for you. That's silly to think that way. What you're doing this for is because you want to make sure you can complement each other and help understand each other. So when these circumstances arrive, you know where they're coming from, and more importantly, how to handle that. And that also goes right into that last question about do the roles you fulfill in your relationship match your personality strengths? So for me, if I don't get overwhelmed and I'm good with, multitasking or dealing with, let's just say, numbers or something, that's something I enjoy and it's a strength of mine, then maybe I need to handle the finances in certain aspects. Maybe it's something that's not her strength. So does it make sense to say, hey, you do something that we know you don't really enjoy? Doesn't make sense. So that's the whole purpose. But of course, this will only make you guys better. So have the conversations, have a good time with these activities. And, that's going to be all for this episode. We're quick and easy, like I said, make sure that we overcome some of the hurdles we had before and give you guys some activities and some fun things for you guys to look forward in your relationship. We're going to actually keep that going, as episode 7 will be on sex and affection. So, ooh la la, it'll be interesting. Until then, have a great one. Peace.